Hello, all you from Podcast Land, to Podcast Land, or from Podcast Land. I'm Jim, the Keys bartender, coming to you from Key Largo in the Florida Keys. I wanted to relate to the listeners a missive I received from a fan of the show and friend of the show, Heather from Philadelphia, and also McGeehan's. What's it called? Bottom of the barrel. I think that's what it's called. Now, it used to be called just McGeehan's, and now it's called the. I have a senior moment. I apologize for it. I will remember. Let me Google that. McGeehan's. You know what? It's all the years of drinking that I had. You know, Heather, maybe you can help me out if you're there. Get on this show and text me or something like that. But I have left a lot of friends there and a lot of stories in the past. And Heather sent me a message that a mutual friend of ours, Trish, related to me. I'm not going to tell the story because it could incriminate the person or myself. So I'll neither confirm nor deny what this story is. It is not of an intimate nature, so it does not involve sex or anything like that. So, but it is an interesting story, and I probably won't. And there's tons of them. There's tons of stories like that of things that happen that people can relate up in Philadelphia. I can tell a McGeehan's story. It's a McGeehan's crowd story. It was a Memorial Day, and I went to the Shore House. A bunch of people that belong to, hung out at McGeehan's went to, and in Wildwood, New Jersey. And we just hung out. It was a kind of a rainy weekend. There was a couple days of I was down there for it, and if I recall correctly, one time, while it was a lot of heavy drinking going on, I decided to get on someone's bike. And there was a guy, there was some people across the street. And you got to remember, this is a resort community. And it could be Labor Day or Memorial Day, but we're down the heck for anything. I decided to get on a bike, and it's been a while since I was riding a bike, a couple years. I was in my 20s. Yeah, I hadn't been on a bike for a while. And get on a bike, and obviously I'm drinking. I just flipped the bike over in the middle of the street, making a turn in front of the. You see people inside a house, and they're watching me trying to do it, and I turn around, and I was sober enough to notice that I think I may have made their day by my actions. So that's one of the stories. Another story was while I was down one of the houses, someone had taken, and it wasn't at the McGeehan's house, someone had taken a icon from a famous fast food place from in front. It was actually a statue of one of the characters. Had taken it. I don't want to say what it is because I'd probably be able to nail it down. Statute of limitations is over on that one, I think. They had Ronald McDonald. I don't know how the hell they got, were able to get Ronald McDonald off his pedestal in a crowded resort town, but they got him, and he was in their living room. And it was some people that were peripherally associated with McGeehan's. That was a good story. I woke up one day and I look over and I see I got in late at night, maybe 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning. There was a bar there called Moore's, and we used to hang out there. And I wasn't at the house prior to daylight, so I arrive and I fell asleep on a couch maybe, and I wake up and I look to my side and I see Ronald McDonald just standing there without any feet, obviously cut off. I don't know if I don't recall if they had him from the ankles down or actually got him below the ankles, but I think they cut him at the most narrow point. Another time, I'm with this guy, Drew. I'm just doing this, relating this in, and there's only stories I'm going to confirm. We are going back to the condo he's renting with other friends, and I'm there with my girlfriend at the time, and we're waiting to get in. We're going to go and have a couple drinks there before we go out, and he doesn't have a key, so he starts climbing up the outside of the building to the second floor of the condo, and I guess he's maybe up 8 feet, and while he's climbing, he falls off into a bush, and he looked like it was pretty serious falling. And the woman I'm with, the girl I'm with, and I go over to help him, and he says, his direct quote was, "Oh, it's all right, I work out." I don't know how that helps you from falling from a solid. It actually probably makes you a little heavier, or because it's better not to work out. Maybe you got more cushion if you have a tendency to fall. They were all short stories, though. I'm just going to do a stream of consciousness. There was a party at another friend's house, Pat Baker, who he had an alligator in a kiddie swimming pool in the center of his living room. And we were there for a party, and we were drinking up. And I don't think Pat drinks anymore, Pat Baker. And he suggested that a friend of ours, Jack Mulholland, you may have heard of him before, he had a monkey. He had, I think, a capuchin monkey or one of these little monkeys. And Pat Baker wanted to get them, the alligator and the monkey, together to fight each other. But I think the alligator was tiny at the time, so I think the monkey would have gotten the better of it. And plus, the monkey's a little smarter. Who knows? But I don't think that would happen. But he was seriously considering trying to do that. But Jack has had the monkey that if you went, he told people don't go up to his house when he's not there and ring the doorbell. And the answer was because the monkey would just start going apeshit. And no pun intended with that. It just starts going nuts. At least this is the story I heard. And people would go wait until he wasn't home and bring his doorbell all the time just to hear the monkey make a ruckus. So, hey, you notice I didn't say too many things that are too embarrassing. So I don't think I got anybody in trouble there. See, that's how a story works. You have to have it somewhat of a misdemeanor going on, some antics, some drinking. I'm trying to recall some of the other ones right there. There was a friend of ours, and I won't say his name because it doesn't make him look, but he always would talk about his girlfriend. And but you'd never see her, supposedly because she was a divorced woman with kids, so she never got to go out. But he's always talking about his girlfriend, and we were just you'd hear it. It sounded like if you ever seen the movie Lars and the Real Girl, where Ryan Gosling gets himself a real girl, which is a sex surrogate doll, but he doesn't necessarily use a sex surrogate. He uses it as a relationship surrogate. And this was way before. This is in the early '90s. This is way before that movie came out. So that was pretty interesting. That this girl was a fiction of his imagination. We were going to see someday a blow-up doll come into the mix. And I forget the girl's name. It's something like Nancy. I think it was Nancy. It could have been Nancy. That would have been funny. So many stories. But it was so funny that the story that I got, or question I got in the Facebook Messenger from Heather, it wasn't a question. She goes, I was talking to our mutual friend Trish, and she told me, the thing, and I'm not going to confirm or deny it because what happened could make someone liable for something, and it has nothing to do if whoever she's married to got that, she was a perfect lady that night, and every night. We were just friends, and I didn't know Heather at that time. She just got this story now. So this occurred, I guess, maybe 27 years ago, maybe 26 years ago. But yeah, it brought back memories. When I first saw it come up, I go like this: who the hell is this person? What are they saying? And stuff. And then I realized it was Heather. And Heather didn't know me back then, so I thought it was someone current saying. And the thing that was suggesting that happened doesn't happen anymore because I don't drink, and I'm not getting on my high horse about that. I apologize if it sounds like that. I'm just saying I don't have a problem recalling things anymore that occur. So if someone prompts me and say, "Hey, you remember that night?" and it was totally inconsequential, like a thing that occurred, and you wouldn't take note of it. Like, remember that time I walked in the door and all of a sudden you said hello and I said hello back, and like I would not necessarily remember that time, but you put some interesting event in there, then yeah, I might recall that. So there's tons of stories. There's a story that I hung out at McGeehan's with John one St. Patrick's Day, and it was I don't know if it was St. Patrick's Day or near St. Patrick's Day, and John was closing up, and he brought all the money that he was from the drawer with him, and we were walking up the street to go to this local eatery diner that's open 24 hours called Mayfair Diner, and he left a trail of change because there was a hole in the sack all the way up. It's funny how you remember things. Now, it may be that I wasn't with him at that time and I heard about it. But remember, this is 27 years ago, and it involves, 4 or 5 in the morning, right? Or whatever crazy time. 2 guys heading out to eat. It was not an unusual occurrence. There were, about 3 blocks away from this diner, so we would never have a problem, or 4 blocks. Never have a problem just walking up there afterwards. And give us a chance to sober up before we went home and slept, which is funny. Some nights, oh God, I remember 1, 2 in the morning be there, and I had to be up for work the next day. It hurts so much. You ever had that time where you wake up the next day and you're still intoxicated? I'm not rejoicing at it. I'm just saying I remember a couple times coming back from long weekends and going to my job. At the time I was part-time. Full-time I was working as a salesman for a circuit board company, and part-time I was a manager at a real catering hall. And it's defunct, so I can talk about a catering hall now. It's great. Rosewood Caterers. I can talk some of that stuff. But that involved a lot of McGeehan's people too. That was kind of funny. But I remember it was an 8th grade graduation. It was a bunch of it was a girls' school. It was something like that. I just remember a lot of little girls, and I just couldn't. The floor felt askew. The hard floor felt askew. Every place I walk, it was like I was walking at a 15-degree tilt. I just felt it, and I'm just talking to 13-year-olds or 14-year-olds when you're hungover is a trip. I do not relish the memory of it. There's just too much talking going on and too much enthusiasm, so you just kind of wave it off when you see stuff like that. I don't know why I got there before, but yeah, because I probably got there. I mean, we used to do this crazy shit all the time. It was amazing. I remember just sitting there, and it was a routine. We'd go and work until the wedding would be, let's say, over 11:30. We'd get out of there at 12:30 or 1 o'clock, rush down to McGeehan's, stay in there for another hour till it closed, and sometimes go to another place, like an after-hours club. Oh, You imagine that you're drinking a couple hours and you don't have enough and you have to go to an after hours club. We used to do that. We used to go to a place in Kensington. I don't remember what it was, but it's a neighborhood in Philadelphia, and it was a rough neighborhood of Philadelphia. The K Street Pub, I think. No, it wasn't a K Street Pub. It could have been the K Street Pub, if I remember correctly. And it was an after hours club. And people come from all around for that. And it was in a really rough neighborhood. Just remember going into that. And we just never had it. For some reason, we just never had a problem going anywhere. I used to start drinking at happy hour, sometimes right after work, and then find myself in a different part of the city. And it's not a town, it's a city. So it'd be like 8 miles away, wondering how the hell I got there. But I'm almost so when someone brings a story to me sometimes and say, "Hey Jim, remember this?" Sometimes I can confirm, sometimes I can't, and sometimes I won't because I don't want to get anybody in trouble. So that's how we leave it. But there are a lot of fond memories. Had a lot of good time, and it's rock bottom. It's rock bottom. McGeehan's rock bottom. So when you go there, you've reached rock bottom. There you go. I remember. See, no one texted me on that either. It just comes to me. It comes and goes. That's the thing. And I had this dispute with people about senior moments. It's not that you're forgetful. It's that you have so much things to remember, so many things to remember, that you're just pulling shit from way back in the head. So right now, I figured I'd do a short episode. It is Friday. I go into work later. I'm waiting for an AC guy who happens to be a friend come in and fix it, because as you've heard in the keys, it's very important. If you want to have a working AC, and I'm grateful that it's not that hot today. It's only going up to 84, so we're out of the heat. We're not in the 90s, and it's not 120% humidity. I think he's here right now, so I'm going to sign off. Remember to follow me on Facebook. Please share with your friends, and I'll talk to you later. Bye. Here we go. Going to get the AC fixed now. Talk to you later.